This house is wet enough for ducks to live in. Today we'll replace an interior wall damaged by that leaky roof and fix that problem at its source by repairing damaged slate roofing tile. We'll patch the roof, remove the damaged drywall, replace it, paint, and chase the ducks away.
Hi, I'm Joe Lorario, and today we're going to be working on this 1880s carriage house in a suburb of Philadelphia. Now, there was some water damage in the wall in the living room, and we traced that to the roof. So we're going to be replacing some of the slate shingles on the roof, and then we're going to repair the water damage in the living room. We're going to meet our contractor, too, for the roof, and we were supposed to meet the owner, but I don't have a watch on. I don't know where he is, but I hope he's got coffee and donuts or something. So let's go in. This is another show here. Why, you. Hey.
What the hell is it?
What are you doing? Everybody's up on the roof. Come on, man.
Man, where did she go?
I'd say it was the manifold.
Hey.
Who left this riffraff in here?
And you have no coffee.
Hey, I'm Ed Feldman. I'm the other one.
And look what we got here. Look at this amazing water damage. You've been doing your dishes over here.
No, my cat likes to... Well, no, actually, what we have is a leaky roof.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Up on the roof, right to the side of the dormer, you've got some damaged slate shingles.
And we're going to be going up on the roof and repairing some slate shingles with our contractor, and then we're going to come back down here.
And replace the drywall, a two-step show.
Let's go.
Up on the roof. Oh, yeah.
The Great Warlenda.
It's one of the throwaways. Ted, when this old world starts getting you down and people are much too much for you to take, where do you go?
Up on the roof?
That's right. This is Ted Rittenhouse from C.E. Hopkins and Company. Right down the street.
What's the CE?
4 doors away. Charles E.
Charles E.
Yep.
Ted, let's get right to the tough question. My roof, savable?
Not really. You're in trouble, Ed. You have nothing but
You're
potato
telling
chips
me.
up there. That's what they say in the industry, potato chips.
Hey, that's
where you've been throwing all those bags at Brussels, too.
Stop it.
They have ridges.
Stop it. Tell us about this roof.
Well, the problem is you have a Pennsylvania gray slate roof that's deteriorated. It's over 75 years old, and it's starting to come apart.
So specifically, the problems are right here and to the right of the door?
The problems are right here. The fact that you're missing a slate, and some of the other slates in the area are coming loose.
The slate surrounding. This is a dormer now.
Exactly.
What is a dormer?
A dormer is a window that comes up out of the roof.
Okay. As I do occasionally. Ted, what's a prescription for this ailing roof?
Ed, what we're going to do, we're going to use a slate ripper and pull the old piece of slate out, slide a new piece of slate in and nail it, and then replace a few other slates around.
Looks like the dentist.
Look, what can you do for this? I got shingles.
Try some mayonnaise.
Uh-huh.
I can't help it.
Let's go find out.
Hey, this is Al Tiggs. He's master mechanic.
How you doing, Ed?
Pretty good. You're new on the job, aren't you?
Some years. I've been here a couple long years.
A couple of years. Tell us about this strange-looking medieval instrument you're using.
Okay, what they call this is a slate ripper, and it's used for getting up underneath the slate. These prongs hook the nail up underneath here. Then you take your hammer and beat them out and pull the slate out that way. This is primarily just for replacing the slate. That fits up in there. Then I have what they call a slate hammer.
Wow.
Now this is naturally
I
for
remember
hammering.
this from Braveheart.
Yeah. This that's the face. This is the point, and the blade is along here for cutting. You can see how it's beveled in here to cut the slate. Can you see that?
Use the ripper tool to break all the old nails so you can free up and remove the damaged slates.
Okay, Ed, will you hand me a slate?
Slate.
These are pre-punched holes here.
This comes from Slatington, PA, doesn't it, Al?
Yes, it does.
Up in the Slate region.
All right. Another slate, Ed.
All right, here you go.
Where's Joe at? You slide these up like this. Then you spread the ones above it. You can either punch them with this, but you have a little more control over it when you use a small slater's punch with a nail set.
Just like a regular nail set.
Yeah, and that's for, and then you can set the nail like that, and a little more control over it. All right, Ed, will you hand me that strip of metal, please?
This one under the chicken ladder?
Yeah. Now this is what we call slip flashing. You cut it an inch above the exposure so you get the lap. And then these fit up underneath here to finish the job.
Right, so that covers up the space in between.
That covers the nail hole.
Right.
You know.
And also the space between each shingle.
Definitely.
And it's just about the same color, so you really wouldn't see it.
Yeah, I usually try and see what you can close them up. You spread them on you before you punch them.
Okay.
Then after you get your flashing in and everything, you just close them and dress them right up. And
so you don't even see them.
I'll give you that and I'll cut another one. I'll hold on to that. And I'll shove one up underneath here, and that should be it for you.
So why do you make that first bend in it?
That bend there is for, so it lides over the nail head. It's still the basic way of doing it. Like I say, 100, 150 years ago.
Sometimes the old ways are the best ways, and the most expensive ways.
True. Okay.
Thanks, Al.
All right.
Good job.
Wake up. We'll be right back with more water damage repair.
Next, home makeover.
So the water damage, now fixed. We've replaced enough shingles. Fine. Now it's time to address the wall.
Hello, wall. You. Now, when I moved in here a year ago, there was just some discoloration on the slanted part of the ceiling here. But after a while, over a year, it started to spread down in brown rivulets all the way down, and now it's even damaged the baseboard trim.
So what we have to do is we have to remove this cabinet, which is fastened by a couple screws in the back here.
A nice George Nelson cabinet, which we emptied first of glassware.
And then we'll also take off the bottom trim, and then we can get to repairing.
Here, altar boy. Fiesta.
St. Blaise.
Let's get to work. All right, we've taken off the cabinet, and it was attached to the wall with this bracket. Now, we're going to need to find studs, because that's what drywall attaches to, the vertical boards inside a wall that give it the strength. But I already found the studs months ago when I hung this bracket. And how did I find them? With an electronic stud finder. Whoa, it's going wild, pointed at me. And I marked those studs with the flat, fabulous pencil that does not roll off the wall. And now I'm going to be pulling this out. Remember, always find your studs no matter what you're attaching.
Once you've found your studs, snap a chalk line down the center. Cut along the chalk line with a utility knife to score the old drywall. Then you can remove it.
We forgot to use a drop cloth.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you may want to put a drop cloth down, but sheetrock comes off in big chunks, and this is a finished floor, so you can just sweep it up.
That's my house. Right. I don't care.
So we got this score. Take this off. Uh-oh.
What's the matter? A problem?
Yeah.
What?
You got knots in the wall.
Knots on the wall. Right. Hey, you know, you're finding out things just as we're finding them out.
What a mishmash.
Usually when you take off drywall, what will you find? Studs, those vertical boards, and then just open spaces.
With fiberglass in there.
Sometimes insulation, sometimes it goes right through and you see the inside of the outside wall. But what do we find here? People have put stuff over top of stuff over top of stuff.
Well, if we go from the back in here, you can see this tongue and groove. Wood, strips, that was all over.
That was the original interior, because this was a carriage house. It was nothing fancy. The walls were just tongue and groove, like flooring.
Right, then you got some 1/8-inch masonite, you got some sheetrock on top of that, and then you got paint.
And then adhesive, and that's what was helping the newest or last drywall to stay on.
Remove all the old drywall, then remove everything that's underneath it. Use a pry bar to remove the old baseboards. If you want to reuse them, be careful. Ed's baseboards are so damaged, we will be replacing them.
You get surprised, you make adjustments. That's how the world works. We got surprised, we took off the old drywall and found rotten particle board. And then we took off the rotten particle board, and what did we find? This barn wall. But it's okay to nail into.
Yeah, but we got to build up the thickness now. So what we're doing is replacing the old soggy particle board that you saw us removing with this quarter-inch Luan mahogany underlayment, and then we'll put the sheetrock on top of that, and we'll have the same thickness as this wall here.
So, of course, we made our measurements.
So all you have to do is measure top, bottom.
And we cut it out with a circular saw, and, of course, made our cutouts for all the light boxes and the notches.
Now we're using 1 1/4" drywall screws to attach the Luan to the barnwood.
We struck a line down the Luan just the same way as we struck a line to find the studs before on the drywall, and now I know where I can screw into. Now some of this barn wall behind this is solid, but some of it was open and it has some studs in it. I don't know who built this house, but they built it a long time ago, so I can't get them.
To cut your new pieces of drywall, take rough length and width measurements and transpose them onto the new drywall. Mark with a T-square or chalk line, then score and cut using the old utility knife. You'll make more detailed cuts later.
All right, we've made our general cuts in the drywall. Now, hey, I thought I was Ed Feldman.
New safety glasses. And it's hot out.
And now we're going to fit it up against the wall, mark out for the outlet box, the sill, and the baseboard, and then trim those to fit right here.
A little tick there.
And for the sill there.
Like a little tick here.
And don't forget for the baseboard.
Baseboard down here. After you make your marks, you may want to just connect them. Again, not real accurate. Just connect them so you have a guideline to go by. You know where you're going to cut. What is this? It's a cheap little keyhole saw. They don't cost that much money, and it really does the job. There's a vertical cut. Now we're going to do your horizontal cut. There, get the first cut made. Once you get the first cut made, you're able to fit the piece in a little better. Okay, now you know it's going to have to be trimmed at the top here, but we can still go down to the baseboard where we made our mark.
Perfect.
The next cut, we're going to use a utility knife and get this right in, edge to edge. If you can see in here, there's about 1 inch difference. So we'll put a little tick here. And down at the bottom, there's only about 1/4 of an inch. So we'll make a 1/4 of an inch tick there. Then we'll take a straight edge and connect the ticks. The Milton Bradley game. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a perfect cut because it's rough edge to rough edge. Now for the final tailoring, we're just going to make a rough line here. Now there are things like sheetrock or drywall planers that you can use that'll take off just little bits like this, but who has to buy one of those when you can just shave with the utility knife? That'll fit in perfectly once we get the outlet box, and I'm not, hey.
Yeah, what's the matter?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind. Well, guess what? You can finish it.
Joe's out getting us a morning break of pate and chav. Good snack. And we're going to cut out for the outlet box now. We're not going to notch for it. We're actually going to cut a rectangle. And I know we've said you don't have to be that exact, but for the outlet box, even though a plate goes over top of it, we do want to be careful. All right, I'm going to measure in this way, and I feel it touch at 1.5 inches. So I pull it out, set it to 1.5 inches again, and make my mark, my first mark. And then I'm going to measure in from the bottom, and I feel it touch at 2.5 inches. So I'll make my second mark at 2.5 inches. I connect these marks, and that's going to be my bottom right-hand corner. Now, I also know that this light box is 4 inches by 2 inches, so I don't have to reach inside anymore. I just make a mark at 4 inches, and a mark at 2 inches, and then connect the dots. And now let's cut with our, hopefully, wrong usage of the word, very sharp utility knife blade. Hello, Lightbox.
The drywall's all been cut and trimmed, and now we're ready to attach using the 1 1/4 drywall screw.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm just going to screw this in. And remember, we got all that barnwood in here, too. It's
Right, which means we don't care where we screw in because it's always going to catch, although you don't want to, make kind of a machine gun pattern. You want some up and down straight lines.
I can put one right here.
No, don't.
Well, I can. It's going to be hidden, right?
All right.
I just want to show. See,
Tight, even, delicious. When we come back, spackle and tape. Remember them? They were like Wayne and Schuster, only with weasels. Noidles. Hey, we're back at my house. Don't you come over. The 100-year-old carriage house in Chestnut Hill, PA.
yeah, and this wall hasn't been fixed in 100 years.
Well, we fixed the source of the water damage by going up on the roof with Mr. Rittenhouse and replacing those slate shingles.
And then we took off the old damage here, put on a new underlayment structure, and then we put on some new drywall, attached it with the screws, and now we are getting ready to spackle. And you can buy those ready-made spackles. They come in a 5-gallon drum or even a gallon drum, but they take 24 hours to dry once you apply those.
We do not have that time, so we're using quick drying spackle that we're going to have to mix. The instructions on the side of the bag are how to mix up the whole bag.
But we don't need the whole bag.
Right, so we're just going to break it down. We got the water in the bucket already.
And we got the wonton container.
It used to be a wonton container.
We'll put 2 of these and 1 of those.
Yeah.
So let's
go there. Go in there.
Stick in there.
Not yet. Drop some in. Drop some in. Now I start the mix.
Stir while I'm stirring. Otherwise you get big lumps.
Where's my whisk? All right, mix the spackle up until it's the consistency of marshmallow fluff.
The world's most perfect food.
You let it sit a little, and now we're ready to go.
I'm going to do the seams with the taping knife. I'm going to put some on a taping knife, run up a thin line, and then wet the tape and run it right into the wet bed of the joint compound.
The wet bed.
The wet bed.
Joan Crawford.
Weep. Roll. Take a little bit of this. Put it on here. I'm going to run a thin line right up the seam this way. What you're going to do, you'll get it in a crack. It looks the best. And I'm just going to spread a thin layer right over the wet tape. Beautiful.
The wrong way, the right way. Now I'm going to cover up these screw holes with this spackle. Perfect.
Now when you're spackling a corner edge, especially when you're working up, we needed to make a heavier consistency of compound because otherwise it's going to leak out. So you want to pack in your spackle. And then you lay the tape in the corner. It's always a pain working up. I'm really glad I don't have to do this all the time. Piece of tape. Just cut it. You don't have to be crazy and cut it with a scissors or anything. And if you see the tape has got a little fold in the center where it will actually fold in half. That gives you your corner edge. Now, the reason the tape is in here, it's going to hide that seam, all that ugly, jagged corners. It'll hide it. So we'll wet it. And then we apply it to the corner. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Look at that. It's like a masterpiece. Now, once this first coat dries, we'll sand it down, and then we'll be able to apply the second coat.
Oh, very nice. So you're also pushing the tape down as you pass.
Of course.
Look, here's a little technique tactic. Keep one side loaded with mud, the other side clean. Shove in mud with one side and smooth down with the other. Oh, you learned something, didn't you?
Oh, I gotta sand. I'm gonna be sanding. I gotta cover up the hair. Here's the rag. Everybody wants to know how I tie it. I can tie it fast. There we go. And wear dust mask too. Oh, good. If you don't wear the dust mask, the nose hairs take on the look of the wintry Scotch pine. It's horrible. I'm using a 220 garnet paper, and I'm going to sand the first seam that I did because it's dry. Now you want to wait. We waited about an hour for this to dry. It's dry. After you get done sanding it, it sands very easily. You get a nice smooth surface. Like that. And you'll feel some irregularities. You may need some more compound on there, some spackle. If you do, just mix up another batch, trowel it on, let it dry another 45 minutes, and then sand it again. You better go. It's getting dusty in here. Whoa!
Hey, we got a website. www.furnitureguys.com.
When the wall is completely smooth, it's time to paint. It's a good idea to paint the entire wall rather than just a new section. It'll match much better. I think so. The paint is dry on the wall, and we've installed the new baseboard molding and the quarter round, and now we're going to paint it, and then we're going to hang the cabinet back again. So let's paint this stuff. We'll put some tape down on the floor. You can see that. See the tape there? That's protecting the floorboards. And I think it's a really nice fit. Look, a nice blend of old and old. I'm probably going to need 2 coats on this, too. Oh, I'm doing this, too? Well, of course. Okay, now get down, up on the knee, and then lift it on. Simply, like that.
Get the drill behind you. Oh boy, this is a better thing. There's no more leakage anymore.
Nice. Great.
Thanks to Ted Rittenhouse and Al from C.E. Hopkins Incorporated.
It was a nice show. We were outside, we came inside.
Right, we replaced some slate shingles, we did drywall, we painted, we rehung the cabinet.
Look at the before. And here's the after. That's great.
What a change.
And until next time, I'm Joe Lorario.
And I'm Ed Feldman, and as we all know, home
is nice.
Surprises bring adjustments. We took off the old drywall. What is with the hand here? Whoops! I got the drywall. It's all right.
He tripped in his own yard.
I tripped on my begonias. I'm mowing.